The story begins with our main character, a 21-year-old chef named Gu Shengnan, or Sheng for short. We see her wake up with a lot of energy and get ready for her job at the prestigious Pinna Hotel's restaurant. She's already running very late. When she arrives, her manager starts mocking her for her tardiness. Although she has a passion for cooking, she isn't one of the main chefs yet. Her job consists of basic prep work, like peeling mountains of onions and potatoes. She's trying to earn her place and get promoted. Later on, the head chef gathers all the kitchen staff. He warns them that a very important guest, a famous food critic, who is also the hotel's new potential buyer, is visiting that day. He tells them they have to be on their best behavior to avoid a bad impression, or they could all get fired. Meanwhile, Sheng's colleague and friend, a man named Dalaba, comes to her while she's working. He insists that she cook him her special secret recipe rice dish, telling her that no one can make it like she can. To convince her, he tells her that another chef also wants to eat it. Feeling proud, Sheng agrees. Because she's not allowed to cook her own dishes, she sneaks into the storeroom to make the meal in secret. We see her gather her ingredients, including some fresh shrimp from the restaurant's tanks. She expertly cleans and boils the shrimp, fries some eggs, and boils peas. After preparing all the components, she assembles the dish and garnishes it with the shrimp. She gives the finished dish to Dalaba and tells him not to eat it until she gets back with her secret spices. But Dalaba can't resist and is about to dig in when his mother calls. He leaves the dish on a shelf in the storeroom and steps out to take the call, not noticing a damaged electrical plug nearby. At the same time, the important guest, whose name is Lu Jin, arrives at the hotel. Just as he arrives, the faulty plug in the storeroom shorts out and starts a fire. When Sheng returns to add her spices, she is shocked to see the flames. She panics at first, but then grabs a pot of water to try and put it out. As she's running with the water, Lu Jin is heading toward the kitchen to evaluate it and is surprised by the fire. Very calmly, he takes a chair, stands on it, and tries to use his lighter or a cigar to trigger the fire alarm sprinkler system. When Sheng sees him, she thinks he's the one who started the fire and will get her in trouble. Afraid of being recognized and fired, she ties a napkin over her face. She knows that if he sets off the alarm, she'll be blamed.
In her panic, she tries to stop him, first by attempting to tie him up, and then by throwing the pot of water on him. Undeterred, Lu Jin grabs a pot or a plate to shield his head, holds his lighter up to the alarm again, and successfully triggers it. The sprinklers turn on, and the fire is put out. He gives Sheng a look, and then leaves without a word. Right after that, the other chefs rush in. The food and beverage manager finds Sheng and starts reprimanding her, asking who else was in the storeroom with her. Sheng remembers her friend Dalaba, begging her not to mention his name, so she takes all the blame and tells the manager she was alone. Initially, the manager decides to punish her by docking her salary for 6 months. Sheng is shocked, as only a towel and a pan were damaged. But then, the manager gets a phone call. He learns from the hotel owner that the new buyer, Lu Jin, was the one who saw the fire. This incident has caused them huge losses because it lowered the selling price of the hotel. The owner orders him to fire the person responsible immediately. With no other choice, the manager fires Sheng. She is in shock, having been fired on her first day. Meanwhile, the manager welcomes Lu Jin and his assistant, giving them a suite to stay in, room 1123. Lu Jin's assistant asks for the best dishes from the kitchen to be served. Sheng, now unemployed, is at home, furious. She talks to a shrimp as if it's Lu Jin, blaming him for getting her fired. Back at the hotel, the chefs prepare their most luxurious dishes for Lu Jin. However, he dislikes every single one. He finds a fault with each meal, even saying a piece of undercooked meat would break his teeth. The chefs get angry and feel insulted, having run out of dishes to offer. Just then, Dalaba remembers the fried rice dish Sheng made before the fire. He goes and gets it from the storeroom and serves it to Lu Jin. Lu Jin has lost hope, but decides to give it one last try. When he tastes it, he's amazed. He says that while the hotel management is poor, they have a genius chef. He loves the dish, which is called Scoundrel's Finger Fried Rice, and asks to meet the chef who prepared it. The manager gets flustered and lies, telling Lu Jin that the chef is on her annual leave. Lu Jin doesn't believe him and says he'll have to lower the price of the hotel again. The desperate manager promises to bring the chef back from her vacation immediately. The next day, Sheng gets a call from her friend Shu, who tells her that her boyfriend cheated on her and stole her wallet. Sheng, being a loyal friend, gets angry, and says she'll get revenge. She goes to a parking garage to find the ex-boyfriend's car. She brings a hammer, intending to smash the windows, but changes her mind. Instead, she gets into what she thinks is his car and starts vandalizing it by covering it with flour, dough, and pasta. Suddenly, the car's owner arrives, and it turns out to be Lu Jin. He catches her red-handed. Sheng is startled when she recognizes him and pretends to be Korean to get out of the situation, but her plan fails when Lu Jin starts speaking Korean back to her. She then admits she's Chinese. He makes her get back into the car, takes pictures of her and the mess as evidence, and threatens to call the police. She pleads with him, promising to pay for all the damages. He agrees and writes his phone number on her bag, telling her to call him within half an hour to sort out the compensation, or he'll go to the police. Afterward, Sheng goes to her friend Shu for help with the money, but Shu refuses. Sheng then goes to her uncle, who also turns her down. Finally, she visits her grandfather, who gives her a generous amount of money as a birthday gift, since it happens to be her birthday. That night, it's also Lu Jin's birthday. Having no friends or family around, he's celebrating alone when he gets a happy birthday message from his bank. Feeling hungry, he goes out to find a restaurant. By chance, he ends up at the restaurant owned by Sheng's grandfather. Sheng is also at her grandfather's restaurant. When a customer orders a seafood noodle soup, she sees an opportunity. Her grandfather has forbidden her from cooking in his kitchen, but he steps away for a moment. She seizes the chance and prepares the dish herself, with all her love and passion, using her special spoon. When the waiter comes to deliver the dish, he can't find the original customer and assumes it's for Lu Jin, who has just sat down. Lu Jin is surprised, but is drawn in by the amazing aroma. As he tastes the soup, he finds the flavor incredibly delicious and familiar, though he can't remember where he's had it before. He devours the entire bowl. Curious to meet the person behind this masterpiece, he heads to the kitchen. There, he sees a girl with her back to him, tying her hair up with a special spoon. He is about to fall for her, but just then, Sheng's grandfather returns and senses someone in the kitchen. Sheng gets scared that her grandfather will see her, so she runs out through another exit without looking back. In her haste, her special spoon falls to the ground. Lu Jin picks it up and treasures it, like Cinderella's prince with the glass slipper. The grandfather confronts Lu Jin, asking him what he's doing there. Lu Jin asks about the female chef, but the grandfather denies that anyone else works there besides him and makes him leave. The next day, Sheng is at home when Dalaba comes to visit. He begs her to return to the hotel, explaining that the guest in suite 1123, Lu Jin, dislikes all the other chef's food and only loved the dish she prepared. He tells her that all their jobs are on the line. So, Sheng returns to the hotel and prepares a new dish for Lu Jin. When he tastes it, he melts from the deliciousness, but tries to eat slowly to hide his enthusiasm. The fact that he finishes the entire plate is a clear sign. Because of this, the manager immediately rehires Sheng, agreeing to her demands for a promotion to main chef and a salary increase. Sheng thinks she'll finally get to participate fully in the kitchen, but she's surprised when the manager tells her that her only task is to cook for the guest in suite 1123 and nothing else. Now that her job is secure, she decides to celebrate with her friend Shu and her uncle. They book the suite right next to Lu Jin's and party all night, making a lot of noise and disturbing him while he's trying to work. After the party, Shu and her uncle stick Sheng with the entire bill for the suite and the party, then leave her passed out to go to a club. A little later, Sheng, still not fully sober, goes out onto her balcony and climbs over to Lu Jin's balcony. When she enters his suite and sees him, she's so shocked that she faints. He recognizes her as the girl who vandalized his car. He tries to call the front desk to have her taken back to her room, but no one answers, forcing him to deal with the situation himself. He carries her and puts her on his bed. It turns out she was only pretending to be unconscious. She recognized Lu Jin and was afraid to confront him about the car damages, especially now that he was her sole customer. While he's dealing with the situation, she wakes up and escapes back to her room the same way she came in. Part 2. The next day, Sheng is back in the kitchen, avoiding Lu Jin. He's determined to meet the mysterious chef whose food he loves. When she prepares his lunch, she sends it with dalaba. The dish is an egg with a feather on it, a riddle for him to solve. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? This begins a game of cat and mouse between them. Lu Jin immediately heads to the kitchen to find her, but dalaba warns Sheng just in time. She quickly runs to the changing room, puts on a waitress uniform, covers her face with a napkin, and walks out. Lu Jin bumps into her in the hallway. He recognizes her as the girl from the day of the fire, but he pretends not to, and lets her pass. It's at this moment he realizes she is the elusive chef who has been avoiding him. Now that he knows her identity, Lu Jin begins his quiet revenge. Instead of ordering specific dishes, he starts making difficult and time-consuming requests. For example, he asks for 10 different potato dishes, each cooked a different way. Sheng is forced to spend all day and night in the kitchen, alone, fulfilling his endless orders, as the manager instructed her to cook for him no matter the time. After 2 days of non-stop work, Sheng is exhausted and realizes that he has figured her out. She sends him her next dish, a pumpkin, as a message that she is tired and needs to rest. Lu Jin understands. Meanwhile, Sheng's friend Shu discovers that Lu Jin's assistant, Meng, is wealthy. Thinking he's a businessman, she tries to get closer to him. Sheng helps her steal a waitress uniform from the hotel so Shu can pretend to work there to get his attention. At the same time, Lu Jin is in a meeting with the hotel owner, successfully lowering the purchase price further by citing the fire and other issues with kitchen safety. While Sheng is sleeping in the kitchen from exhaustion, the manager tells her to go out to the garden for some fresh air. As she's outside, Lu Jin is by the pool talking on his phone. Sheng doesn't see him and tries to inflate a large doll. When she presses the button, the doll inflates rapidly, hitting Lu Jin and knocking him into the swimming pool. His assistant, Meng, starts to think Sheng is bad luck, as trouble seems to follow whenever she's near Lu Jin. After this incident, Sheng tries to apologize, but Lu Jin is too tired to see her. Lu Jin, remembering all the trouble she's caused, thinks of a way to get back at her. He orders a cocktail pot, a very complex dish with numerous ingredients, knowing it will be a challenge for her. Sheng gets to work, but is running late. When Lu Jin feels his meal is taking too long, he goes to the kitchen to check. He finds it empty, with the dish still cooking on the stove. He decides to taste it and eats some of the mushrooms. Instantly, he gets poisoned and goes into shock, as he's allergic to those specific mushrooms. Sheng returns at that moment and finds him on the floor. She thinks quickly and saves his life by making him drink liquid soap to induce vomiting. To her, the crisis is almost a game. She presses on his chest, making soap bubbles come out of his mouth while he is completely helpless from the poisoning. The next day, Lu Jin is incredibly embarrassed because the entire incident was caught on the kitchen's surveillance cameras, and all the staff saw it. All the chefs, including Sheng, go to apologize to him. Feeling she's caused enough trouble, Sheng decides to leave the hotel for good. Later, Lu Jin is having lunch at a restaurant he used to love and had rated highly. This time, however, he finds the food very ordinary and doesn't finish his meal. His sense of taste has been spoiled by Sheng's incredible cooking. Meanwhile, Meng calls Sheng and demands she pay the money she owes for the car damages, threatening to go to the police with the evidence he has. As Meng is driving, he sees Sheng on the side of the road and offers her a ride. He overhears her talking to her friend Shu about needing 70,000 yuan to pay off her debt. So, Sheng makes a deal with him to work as his private chef, getting paid daily to chip away at the debt. That night, Lu Jin has Meng search for a good restaurant for dinner, but nothing appeals to him. He ends up going back to Sheng's grandfather's restaurant. Sheng happens to be there and has snuck into the kitchen to cook the same seafood noodle dish as before. Her grandfather catches her and is about to throw the dish away, but Lu Jin arrives just in time and takes it from him. As Lu Jin sits down to eat, Sheng sees him and tries to take the dish back, but fails. A fight breaks out in the restaurant behind him. During the commotion, Sheng throws a bottle at someone, but it accidentally hits Lu Jin in the head, and he faints. Panicked, Sheng rushes home, packs a bag, and prepares to flee the city to escape more trouble. But as she opens her door, she finds Meng waiting for her. He threatens to call the police, so she gives up on escaping and agrees to go with him quietly. They go to the hospital where Lu Jin is being treated. The doctor is scolding Lu Jin for not eating properly, which is causing him health problems. Sheng enters the room with her face to the wall, wishing she could disappear. Meng calculates all the costs Sheng has incurred, the car repairs, the hospital bills, and tells her she now owes 12,000 yuan. He gives her an ultimatum: pay up or he reports her to the police. Not wanting to ruin her future with a police record, Sheng agrees to whatever settlement Lu Jin proposes. Lu Jin makes her sign a contract stating she will cook for him until her entire debt is paid off. She has no choice but to sign and provide all her personal details so she can't escape. The next day, the contract begins. Lu Jin sends her a request for a seafood dish. Back at her modest apartment, Sheng hangs a chart on the wall with a spoon-shaped indicator to track her debt, hoping to pay it off quickly. To get the ingredients, she goes to her grandfather's restaurant and steals some crabs and clams. Lu Jin travels to her humble neighborhood for the first time. He's surprised by the area and even trips and falls on the stairs leading to her building. Meanwhile, Meng is on a date with Shu at a fancy restaurant. When Lu Jin finally arrives at Sheng's apartment, she treats him with the formal service of a high-end restaurant waitress. He loves the food, but when she presents the bill, he sees she has priced the meal at an exorbitant 3,000 yuan in an attempt to pay off the debt faster. He sees through her trick. Sheng, realizing her plan failed, asks her uncle for advice on how to deal with Lu Jin. Her new plan is to distract him with her charm and beauty, so he'll pay whatever she asks without thinking. She starts acting uncharacteristically gentle and flirty, but Lu Jin understands her new trick and decides to turn the tables on her. He starts playing along, trying to make her fall in love with him for real. The next day, he brings her a bouquet of red roses to impress her. But Sheng, ever practical, takes the roses and cooks them into her recipe. He then tries to distract her by sitting in her small kitchen to read while she cooks. When he refuses to leave, she fries a large amount of chili peppers, and the overwhelming smell makes him choke and forces him to flee the kitchen. After each meal, he signs her bill, but he starts writing in much lower prices than she charges. He also secretly resets her debt countdown chart on the wall, bringing it back to the beginning just as she gets close to finishing. He does all this because he has genuinely fallen in love with her and her cooking and doesn't want her to leave. Sheng, for her part, is visibly happier these days and is also falling for him. She even keeps one of his shoes that she accidentally wore when escaping from his hotel room and is happy just wearing it around her apartment. One day, she gets a job offer from a big restaurant, a result of Lu Jin secretly submitting her resume, but she happily rejects it, choosing to continue cooking just for him. As a gesture, Lu Jin surprises her by installing 2 new chandeliers on the dark staircase of her building. Sheng, however, mocks him for being a rich and stupid person who would install fancy chandeliers in such a humble place, worrying about the high electricity bill. Part 3. Meanwhile, we see a side story developing. Shu is in public relations and is about to lose a deal with a Finnish delegation. Meng saves the day by speaking fluent Finnish. This impresses Shu, who is starting to see him in a new light. Another character, a woman named Lehman, is constantly calling Lu Jin, but he ignores her calls. We learn that Lehman is Lu Jin's trusted assistant and consultant from his life in Switzerland. A flashback reveals that years ago, Lu Jin's former fiancée made him choose between her and Lyman, and he chose Lyman, leading to the breakup. Lyman is now worried about Lu Jin's new relationship with Sheng. Lyman arrives in China unexpectedly and finds Sheng's resume in Lu Jin's suite. She tells Lu Jin that she has booked his tickets to return to Switzerland for work. Lu Jin feels frustrated because he has only felt truly alive since he met Sheng and now has to return to his life of all work and no play. He calls Sheng and asks her to dinner. He is sad and distracted during the meal. Sheng, on the other hand, thinks he's finally going to confess his love for her, but instead, he breaks the news that he is traveling the next day and that her debt is cleared, so she no longer has to cook for him. Sheng is completely devastated and leaves crying. Back home, she sits at her door, heartbroken, cracking walnuts. With each crack, the new chandeliers he installed flicker on and off. The next day, she is so miserable that when she goes to the market, she bullies the vendors into selling her things at extremely low prices. That night, climbing the dark stairs, she slips on a banana peel, falls, and breaks her neck and legs, ending up in the hospital. Her friends visit and joke that she has taken on the bad luck that used to follow Lu Jin. A few days later, while Sheng is recovering at her grandfather's restaurant, her childhood friend Xian returns. We see a flashback of how they met when they were young. Meanwhile, Lu Jin finds out about Sheng's accident in the hospital. He immediately tries to fly to her, but all flights are cancelled due to bad weather. His only option is a 5-hour taxi ride, which is torture for him, as he's not used to mingling with ordinary people. He finally arrives at Sheng's house and sees Xian dropping her off. The fire of jealousy ignites in his heart. He argues with Sheng, but she kicks him out, reminding him that he's the one who abandoned her. He tells her he just came to check on her, but she remains firm. A sadder Lu Jin returns home. Soon after, the hotel manager visits Sheng at home with an appointment letter, offering her a job back at the hotel. Sheng is excited, thinking Lu Jin brought her back. She happily accepts. On her first day back, an order comes from Suite 1123. She joyfully prepares the dish and decides to serve it herself to apologize to Lu Jin. But when the door opens, she finds a completely different person staying there. She's shocked and heartbroken to realize Lu Jin has really left. The kitchen staff is cleaning frantically, afraid of the new manager. The new manager turns out to be her childhood friend, Xian. When Xian tells Sheng about Lu Jin's long journey just to check on her, she finally admits to herself that she truly loves him and doesn't want him to leave. She rushes to the kitchen to cook him an apology dish. With help from Meng, who tells her the flight time, she races to the airport. However, traffic is bad, so she has to run the rest of the way. She arrives to see the plane has already taken off, and in her despair, she drops the food. But then, in a surprise twist, she sees Lu Jin standing there. He hadn't traveled after all. She is overjoyed. They return to his home, but another surprise awaits. Lyman is there and has prepared lunch for him. When Sheng sees Lu Jin eating food cooked by another woman, especially Lyman, she gets incredibly upset and leaves in distress. That night, Lu Jin doesn't finish a dish Lyman prepared because his taste is now exclusively tuned to Sheng's cooking. He does, however, happily eat a whole cake that Sheng had made for him. The next day, Lyman accompanies Lu Jin to the hotel and asks Sheng to prepare their lunch. After tasting the dish, Lyman criticizes Sheng, telling her she shouldn't innovate on classic recipes and should stick to the original ingredients. She belittles Sheng for being a self-taught cook, contrasting it with her own education at a top European culinary school. She implies that Sheng is of a lower class and not suitable for Lu Jin. Lu Jin tries to calm Sheng down, but she argues with him, angry that he didn't defend her against Lyman. This conflict is amplified by the fact that Lu Jin's mother favors Lyman and has given her significant influence over him. To prove his commitment and show he's not a pampered rich man, Lu Jin moves into the apartment next to Sheng's. He starts playfully annoying her, but she is secretly thrilled to have him so close. When Xian shows up, Lu Jin becomes intensely jealous and follows Sheng everywhere she goes with him. He finds out they are traveling to a mountain city for a cooking course and explodes with rage. He follows them, secretly watching her from afar. He even sees them at a wishing wall and replaces Xian's wish with his own next to Sheng's. Sheng eventually realizes Lu Jin is following her and confronts him. She demands to know why he's chasing her. He's unable to give a clear answer, so she walks away. He runs after her and, in a moment of desperation, confesses everything. He tells her he will learn all her hobbies, like photography and archery, just so they can be together. She is overjoyed. When she asks if he truly loves her, he confirms that he does, very much. Just as he confesses, hotel officials arrive, recognizing him as the famous Lu Jin, who plans to buy and develop their property. A few days later, Sheng is back at the hotel. The other chefs, led by a man named Chef Yu, are resentful of her relationship with Lu Jin, believing it's the only reason she keeps getting promoted. The hotel announces a competition to choose the new head chef, The judge will be the new hotel owner, Lu Jin's mother, who will taste the dishes blindly to ensure fairness. Lu Jin helps Sheng practice for the competition, tasting her dishes and giving her advice. He tells her about his difficult childhood, how his father abandoned him and his mother, and how his mother worked tirelessly to become a powerful and successful businesswoman. Chef Yu overhears their conversation, and his suspicions about their relationship are confirmed. The day of the competition arrives. Both Sheng and Chef Yu present their best dishes. Sheng wins the first round, and the other chefs, especially Yu, are furious. They believe the competition is rigged. Chef Yu confronts Sheng about her relationship with Lu Jin, accusing her of using him to win. Later, Sheng invites Lu Jin to dinner at her grandfather's restaurant to celebrate. Lu Jin expects a quiet dinner, but he finds the restaurant packed with all of Sheng's family and neighbors. He feels like an outsider. Sheng's uncle takes him aside and warns him not to hurt Sheng, telling him about her upbringing and how the neighborhood people are her true family. Meanwhile, a love story blooms between Meng and Shu. Meng realizes he is in love with Shu and wants to be rich to win her heart. The final stage of the head chef competition is here. Lu Jin's mother will be the ultimate judge. The chefs are all on edge. Chef Yu, still resentful, plots his revenge. He sees the special dish Sheng is preparing for Lu Jin's mother. When it's time to serve, Sheng's dish disappears for a moment and then reappears near Chef Yu. When the dish is presented to Lu Jin's mother, its appearance is horrifying, looking like a plate of leftovers. It's a grave insult. Lu Jin's mother is furious, and the manager kicks Sheng out. The other chefs are happy, believing she's finally gotten what she deserves. But Lu Jin stands by Sheng, telling her he believes and trusts her. Dalaba tells Lu Jin and Xian that Chef Yu likely switched the dishes. Lu Jin confronts Yu and tricks him into confessing. Yu is immediately fired. Sheng's uncle and Shu go to Lu Jin's house to confront his mother, telling her she is unjust for judging Sheng based on money. Lu Jin arrives and explains the trap that was set for Sheng. His mother, realizing her mistake, asks him to invite Sheng for another lunch. Finally, Lu Jin's mother goes to Sheng and asks her to stay away from her son so he can focus. Sheng agrees to leave, not wanting to come between Lu Jin and his mother. But Lu Jin finds out and goes to his mother, who admits she was wrong and was only testing Sheng. She now approves of their relationship. Lu Jin rushes to Sheng's apartment just as she is packing to leave the city for good. He tells her his mother approves of their marriage. Sheng is overjoyed. In the end, everyone finds their happy ending. Meng and Shu get married. Even Xian and Liman find love and get married. At a final party, on Sheng's birthday, Lu Jin presents her with a cake shaped like his Ferrari, the car that started their journey. On top of the cake is a wedding ring. He proposes, and she accepts. They close their chapter with a happy ending. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.